that are into the 70s throughout for the most part, but Boston's at 66, Atlantic City at 68 because you're getting a lot of sea breeze there. And we work our way down, but it's at 80 degrees in Pittsburgh. Yet 68 degrees in Virginia Beach because of cooler weather there. Then we work our way towards the southeast. Temperatures throughout the entirety of the southeast, they range from the low 70s to the low 90s. It's cooler in the Carolina coast because of the low pressure, powerful storm that's there. But yet it's very warm once you move west, across the Mississippi. Then you have temperatures that are in the 80s and 90s, except for Alpine, where temperatures they're at 79. But it's very hot. Very hot in the eastern part of Texas. In Florida, temperatures are in the 80s there. In the Ohio Valley, you get temperatures that are in the mid 70s to upper 80s there. But yet, air pollution, what's the significance of which? Well, that part I would have to figure that out, though. I mean, but all I know is that the winds are coming from the northeast, and they're affecting places like southern Indiana, Cincinnati, and Louisville. In the Great Lakes region, you do have plenty of temperatures that are in the 70s and 80s. The Dakotas and Minnesota. Your area, I know it does say 73, but you did say 81 at that time, what you just said, Wild Lee Coyote. But I'll look further into that. Okay, so temperatures in Minnesota and the Dakotas, they are in the 70s and 80s there. No, I'm just half-assing this because at one point, for some reason, in the last stream, I got a little more tired than usual for some reason. Guess maybe it has to do with my my breathing technique and such. I just need to space out what I said. Because if I said too fast, then I'm going to end up losing so much of my breath. But sometimes I can't really help it because, sometimes I talk too fast. And, because, me talking about the weather is just something that I enjoy. You go down to the Missouri River Valley. Temperatures there, they're in actually, like in the western parts of Nebraska and Kansas. Temperatures there, they're in the mid 60s to low 80s. Then on the eastern side of those two states, they get warmer with temperatures in the 80s, plus Missouri and Iowa too. I mean, that's because you have a cold front, which it separates it between those two parts of each state. And then you work your way towards Minnesota. Then we move on to the Northern Rockies, where temperatures they're in the 60s and 70s, 59 in Cody, but a little cooler in northern Idaho. And we go down to Nevada, Utah, and Colorado. Temperatures range, but on the eastern side of the Rockies, they're in the 60s and 70s. A little warmer with 84 in Grand Junction. Utah, temperatures are in the 70s, but gets quite hot in places like St. George and Las Vegas, with temperatures in the 90s. But in most of Nevada, temperatures are in the 70s to low 80s. Yeah, it was cool cooling down now, though. I gotcha. Yeah, don't tire yourself out like that. I promise I won't. I won't. I'm doing everything I can. Just provide as much detail, but not to kill myself. Yeah. Let's see. In the desert southwest, much of New Mexico and northern Arizona, temperatures are in the 70s and 80s, but 61 in Alpine, with temperatures in the upper 80s to low hundreds in the southern part of the state. In California, you get on the coastal side temperatures. You get 68 in Eureka, though it gets warmer once you go down the California coast, where temperatures are in the 90s. But San Diego's at 80, 104 in Dio, Central Valley, California, temperatures are in the 90s. Then in the Pacific Northwest, temperatures are in the 70s to mid 80s. In Washington State, temperatures are in the 70s to low 80s there. Let's talk about gusts. So it turns out that there are very strong gusts from North Carolina all the way to Connecticut, where wind gusts are as strong as 30 miles an hour at the minimum, but they're the strongest in the Outer Banks all the way to Atlantic City, where wind gusts are right around 40 to 60 miles an hour, maybe close to 70 miles an hour near Virginia Beach. Well, yeah, that's one hell of a storm right there. Then you move to the Great Plains, where gusts are around 30 to 50 miles an hour in the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas, western Kansas, and eastern Colorado, southern Colorado, up to 40 miles an hour in gusts, but a few places in the desert Southwest and the Great Basin. They are moving around 30 to 40 miles an hour as well, plus a few places in the Sierra Nevadas and the Cascades. They're blowing around 30 to 50 miles an hour, maybe a few places up to 60 in the Cascades, in Washington State and Northern Oregon. Then we move to humidity. Where's the humidity? It is very humid in Virginia, North Carolina, and the Delmarva Peninsula. But it's quite dry in the west. And the Ohio Valley, too, all the way down to Louisiana and Texas. Rainfall accumulations, take a look. Let's see what we got. The Mid-Atlantic, they're going to get as much as about up to 6 inches of rain in some places, locally heavier, though. In particular places like the southern part of the Chesapeake Bay area. In Florida, just up to an inch or two in South Florida, but not widespread, though. In the Great Plains, it could be as much as 2 to 4 inches of rain. Throughout locally heavier amounts, though, in some places in the Great Plains. Plus Montana, up to 2 inches of rain there. And, oh, yeah, and while it looks like as though you have an estimate of up to an inch of rain in your area, but do consult with your local officials for actual weather reports, because they're the ones who do the actual recording. I mean, for example, like if in your area, if it has like 2 inches of, if it's estimated to have 2 inches of rain, but then your area says 3 inches, has recorded 3 inches of rain, then it would be different. Or like in some instances, it could be exactly that amount or below that. Just depends. And that goes with everyone else. Yeah, because real-time weather observation tells the real story. Because this right here is just an estimate, Wild and everyone else. Now, let's take a look at the upper level winds. Okay, let's assume that this is right now. What we have here is that we do have an upper level low that's situated over the east coast, and we do have a trough that's over Wyoming, and a ridge over British Columbia and Alberta, and another ridge over California. Yeah, this one was pretty tricky, but yet we know that there's severe weather in the Great Plains and plenty of a strong storm just offshore, bringing in lots of rain in the mid-Atlantic, clouds too, and strong winds there. Now let's move on to 24 hours. For 24 hours, there's still going to be a trough, which will bring in some storms throughout the northeastern part of the U.S. Another trough just located, just a trough that's going to move into the northern plains, which means there's going to be wet weather to go around. But wild in your area, you're going to get some wet weather going for tomorrow. Then you have this weird looking ridge located in Alberta. Well, I mean, that's as far as I can go at this point. But still, there's going to be some wet weather that's going to occur throughout British Columbia and the Pacific Northwest in the U.S. And still more storms throughout the Great Plains and upper Mississippi Valley in your area wild too. Now let's check for Thursday night. It's quite a weak-looking trough over in the northeast, and another weak but very big trough over Florida. It's gonna be a ridge over the Great Lakes region, and a trough would sit right around over the Great Plains. A ridge would be over Utah, and a trough over California, and another trough over British Columbia. What does this mean? Some wet weather will occur throughout parts of Washington State, British Columbia, Alberta. And if you hold on a minute, never mind. Some wet weather could occur throughout the Great Basin, parts of the desert Southwest, and more storms moving into the upper and central Mississippi Valley. Yeah, maybe some storms in some parts of the Northeast, like New England, but otherwise it's going to be offshore. And finally, by Friday, there's going to be a trough off of Florida. It kind of looks like a trough just northeast of Maine. A tiny ridge over the Great Lakes region. A trough that's going to be over the Dakotas and Minnesota. A ridge over the Great Basin, desert Southwest. And there's going to be a trough just north of Montana. And a little bit of ridge over in Washington State. So that means there could be somewhat weather just north of Montana. And plenty of wet weather that will occur throughout the upper Mississippi Valley. And that includes your area wild. It's going to be a slow mover, though, which means that for the next few days, it's not going to be a pleasant weather situation for you, wildly Coyote. Wet weather will occur throughout parts of the desert Southwest and Great Basin. Alright, now let's take a look at the tropics. Okay, let's take a look at the tropics. So what we have here So that it looks like a tropical wave. What it looks like is though that is counterclockwise flow.